All right. Good morning. Beautiful day. Hope you can hear me. I'm back far away. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to do a video before the crowds start rolling in because the gates open. And again, wow, what a beautiful day. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that's had enough faith in me to purchase my book. Sales are actually pretty good, averaging more than one sale a day. And so my riddle to you is to skip over to page 111, and I've got a diagram there, and it's like everything looks good, and then I skip down to just one piece, one part. 1 inch equals 3 millimeters. Now that is a new conversion. Look at this, another car came in, so maybe they'll just pass. Anyway, that's the only real thing that I found that was odd. Morning traffic. Just hang on. They might be turning around. Yeah. I am surrounded by goodness. 3 paddle bows here. It's painting day. I've got 3 sinew-back bows. Chasing the sunlight to dry the sinew, and at this point, after drying for some weeks, they're ready to go to a friend's house who has drying racks above his wood stove, just to be forgotten about for a while. And I'm going to stop talking here, and I apologize. I can't just keep doing this over and over again because we've had steady traffic in here just turning around. This could be considered a little bit of my appreciation for the history of us as people, and also just it's funny. I mean, we've all been called many things in our times, some good, some not so good, but I get joy out of being called by just some individuals, not an entire group, don't want to go there, just some individuals, because there's angry individuals on every side of the coin. Either a pink cave dweller or a caveman. It's like, wow, thank you for the compliment. It's amazing to insult somebody by complimenting them. I mean, seriously, think about it. And going broader than cave people, you know, into people of the earlier Stone Age through the later Stone Age to, you know, going all the way back, maybe to the remnants found in Germany 400,000 years ago that even predate modern humans, the Homo heidelbergensis. How clever, how knowledgeable, how tough these people must have been to be able to survive, you know, the conditions they were faced with. Let's just think about the Ice Age. Can you place yourself in a position of just pure survival? And you go through, I'm going to just drag out some things, I don't have a script, but like the Schonigen spears, and I can't pronounce that because I don't, sprechen Sie Deutsch, but these artifacts, the oldest surviving intact weapons ever found. In Europe, I'm not going to extend that throughout the world, but in Europe, 400,000 years, well, 380,000 to 400,000 years ago, ballistic. And these were made by people that weren't even modern people. They predate Neanderthals. And so people reconstructed these and had javelin throwers throw them. And by ballistic, I mean they don't need fletching. They land point down. And so these people had balanced these things. There's a, you know, the physics of flight. A third from the front is basically a good starting point, but you can control, you know, the actual flight of these things and how accurate they are by adjusting that center of gravity. And it could have been an accident, happy accident, where you take a sapling and then you taper it this way, But I don't think if a group of people were to produce things over a long enough period of time that everything is a sheer accident, that they took these things and they had a back taper and a front taper that allowed these things to be thrown and fly like javelins and not skid sideways. 400,000 years ago, proto-people had this knowledge. And then, obviously, I'm preaching to the choir, but then you get into You know, this whole notion of spear throwers, and the common name for these are atlatls, which is a name that was used, say, the Aztecs and probably the Toltecs and other people of that region. Throughout the world, almost on every single continent except Antarctica, you know, the people had these assistors for throwing darts, and they went by different names, and the Inuit still use these. So I tend to call them dart throwers. Amazing device, and on the surface, you know, you can picture how fun it is to go target shoot, but imagine the coordinated effort and the danger, the risk, and the rewards of going after the megafauna with these things. Facing down a short-faced bear, taking down a mammoth or a mastodon. I get my elephant creatures mixed up. Amazing. These people were tough, they were smart, they were able to flourish in conditions that would just cause most people to wilt. So yes, I take being called a caveman or a cave dweller as a very deep compliment. Hunting weapons aside, think about the plants. Now I do a column in Primitive Archer on medicinal plants, and what I know only scratches the surface of what these early people knew as far as the plant life. Now I might have said, I might not have, that last March I was laid low. I was on the couch watching way too many episodes of How I Met Your Mother because I couldn't get off the couch for a month. I really do think that I had pneumonia, and it carried on for a couple months later, and after this way too many months of just being really sick, I went over here behind me to my medicine cabinet and made a very, very strong series of infusions of blue vervain, and within 2 days, blam, I was cured. We have other power plants, common mullein for one, weeke. If you wanted to get really technical, you know, there's stuff that you can do with bloodroot, but I don't recommend that because that is very hazardous. You have to know exactly what you're doing. Amazing knowledge and skill that these people had. Then, of course, caveman bow. I'm going to call this a caveman bow because bows like this were seen in petroglyphs, and so I am proud that I'm carrying on the tradition with a sinew bowstring and just a big, powerful D-bow, 70-pound bow, made from one piece of wood. Interesting. Hello, Red Dragon, if you're watching this. I do appreciate your viewership because I have so much respect for you. Just like the fellow in Primitive Archer magazine that does the column on atlatls. I mean, there's a lot of research that goes into it. I know my plants, so I'm gonna admit that it doesn't take me a long time to write an article because I already have that in my mind, and you know, I'll throw a few stories in there. But the researchers on YouTube and the researchers in Primitive Archer and other sources, utmost respect. Well, Mr. Dragon had pondered, and this is a wonderful question because when you look at certain petroglyphs, drawings on cliff faces and in caves, there's a mixture of bows. There are the long D bows, but in these petroglyphs they also have a mixture. Let me just grab this Osage and sinewback bow. There are pictures of bows that are shaped and shorter. And so he brought up the question, which, you know, I never even really thought about, is when did people start using sinew? And that's why on that one bow, I experimented with the cold method of sinew backing, where typically it's like, okay, John's going to do some sinew backing, and so I have to run around, I have to gather my materials, the hot plate, get my metal pan, get my glue pot, get everything warmed up, spread my sinew out, and then go in a very methodical, very modern way of sinew backing. And so on this other bow, if you had seen that, let me just go grab it. I love playing with my bows. This one I used the cold method, where it was kind of affecting modern sensibilities of sizing the back, where you just have a glob of sinew, or sinew glue or hide glue, and you just let it melt, and then you basically just kind of rub it on the back. And then you just soak your fibers. I used a Ziploc bag, but I could have used anything. I could have used a birch bark macaque. Just putting my fibers in there in a very very loose, non-congealing at room temperature mixture of hide glue or sinew glue. And that could have easily been, if it was cold, caveman temperatures. It's set next to the fire just to keep it warm. And so I just took my fibers out, these wet, floppy things that were laying in this thin glue mixture, and laid them on here. And I have to tell you that this is successful. This is a successful method of gluing fibers down without using a hot plate or even glue that's thick enough to congeal at room temperature. This stuff is hard. I can tell, trying to like raise it here, that this stuff is stuck on nicely. For the tip wrapping, all I did was I put hide glue in my mouth, and I had sticky spit, and then chewed on tendons and wrapped this, and these things are amazing. I would compare this even beyond the typical taking dried sinew fibers, dipping them in glue and wrapping them. I mean, the action of chewing mixed with sticky spit, the gluey spit, this is an amazing way to bond. And so I still have to wait to final tiller that bow, but the weak link in this is the white cedar that the bow is made of. It's not the sinew backing. I haven't stretched or stressed this out. I have put it on my tillering stick and it looks great. But I can tell you at this point with 100% confidence that that is a good method to use. You do not need to use that much glue as long as you just soak your fibers in it, and you do not need a heat source to sinew bag. Continuing my tirade against, forward again, you know, the term caveman being a derogatory term. What about creating stone points? The remarkable skill and knowledge it takes to create a good stone point, and this can be demonstrated. Do a Google search for Danish daggers, and you will see, like, right up there at the apex of stonework, how skilled these cave dwellers were. Now, I don't want to instill anger in anybody's hearts. I want to have a positive message, because how can you be anything but positive on a day like this? You know, it's beautiful. That one in F, somebody refers to you as a cave dweller. Say thank you. Thank you for the compliment. That was very kind of you, because we have ultimate respect for these people and proto-people, Heidelbergensis, that were able to survive and flourish, you know, under extremely adverse conditions. I also look at the Inuit. Man, I would be tempted to walk south. But, you know, they created a culture, and they do very well up there. It's amazing. I had a last thought. What was it? I guess I'm going to have to punt on that one. Did I forget? And, nope, there's UPS man. Give me 10 seconds here. What was that thought? Well, I guess I lost it. But that's okay. I better get to work. Better paint some bows. And if you've been trying to contact me on Facebook, you know, please, just contact me on my YouTube channel, because that's the surest way to get. I don't go on Facebook that much. There's something that draws me away from Facebook. Maybe because of my job. It's quiet today, thank goodness. It's like the first quiet day we've had. But going into a social network is kind of, it's like reverse magnetism. And so I've got some inertia that's fighting, that causes me to fight going into Facebook. So just send me a message on any of my videos, and I shall respond, because I'm pretty good about the YouTube. That is it. John signing off. I've been stalling, trying to come up with this last point. Didn't work. People are coming in, walking. Thank you for watching.